from Avalon Caravan here. I hope you're all having a good off-grid evening. What have you all been doing? Just pop some comments in. I'm here for a little chat. Not about anything in particular. You know, all I've done today really is go and pick my lad up. We did a bit of shopping this morning. Struggled trying to find any of the sort of tomatoes and the salad and stuff like that, as it seems the gauge now. You know, and I think it's all down to supply chain. A lot of this about, you know, the weather conditions and stuff like that. When you look at the amount of food that's available in Europe, including Spain and places like this, which are supposed to be having a horrendous time, their shelves are full, their markets are full. Something tells me we're definitely not getting the whole picture here, and we're at the thin edge of the stick. We really are. And I think, you know, unfortunately, the way things have gone, this is the way it's going to be unless we do some deals pretty soon. The big supermarkets, I think, have shot themselves in the foot by forcing prices down and down and down and down, and now it's not possible for local providers to actually make a living if they do sell to the local supermarkets, because they can't afford to do it. Hence also the egg problem, where they were throwing eggs away because the supermarkets wouldn't pay them enough. And also now the companies abroad can't see the point in bringing the stuff here, getting stuck for 77 hours or so. It was quoted in one of the press about people trying to get from Holland in their lorries were taking 77 hours to get to the UK, which they're not going to bother doing, obviously, because they've got a more profitable time elsewhere. So that's, I think, one of the main reasons. You know, I'm not a sort of avid watcher of the news, but, you know, things that you do glean says we're getting, you know, a pretty poor deal as far as this is concerned. It's the food's out there, it's just the supply chain is broken down, and I think that is why, you know, people like myself and many others are starting to decide, well, you know, we've got to produce our own stuff now. You know, we can't rely on the big boys to supply us anymore. So those little sort of off-grid sort of preppers, although we do, I mean, I do have a job and I do work in a supermarket, so, you know, I do have the advantage I can get the food when I want, if I want it. But I think, you know, being prepared, you know, I've got my, like I said, I've got my sort of food beds out there. I've got a little polytunnel and a greenhouse there as well, which I can use. So I'll be able to get my cucumbers and my tomatoes and my lettuce and stuff like that off to a flying start. So, you know, I think we've got to do things like that. And as I said before, you know, slightest sniff people get and people saying there's a new strain, all the medicine goes off the shelves. So I think also, you know, my thoughts of actually going down the medicinal herb front, I think, is also a good move these days. You know, if you can, get on with that, because I think you're going to need it, because the shelves get cleared within, you know, within hours of someone actually mentioning there's a bad strain of the flu coming. People are so obsessed with this sort of thing now that, you know, they rush out and buy it all up. You know, I mean, I don't blame them, you know. What do? Do you end up with, it was in the pandemic when people went out and bought everything? You know, I've got people coming in now and they can't buy the fresh tomatoes, so they're coming in and buying 4 cases of canned tomatoes, just in case. You know, 4 cases, for God's sake. You know, I mean, let people have a chance. What else have we been doing? Bit of knife sharpening. I realised some of my knives were getting a bit on the old blunt side. That was when I was trying to do some cooking. I was making some fajitas today, and I tend to use the Mora Companion for that. Bit of an extreme knife to be using, but, you know, that's the way I am. I use these knives whether I'm actually cooking or hunting or cutting veg or whatever. Good quality knife is a good quality knife for everything, you know, and I've got an array of those. Weather's been a bit unpredictable today as well, so, you know, mud everywhere. We've had hailstone, we've had sun, we've had wind, we've had rain. Anything else it can throw at us, I'm sure we'll get it by the end of this evening and this week. But that's about all I've got to say tonight. It was mainly another test to see how I'm going. The weather is, you know, favourable. I might try and get some videos from outside soon, you know, down on the veg plot. But as it stands at the moment, I'm afraid you're stuck with my little rants and chats on an evening. If you've got any ideas of what you want me to try and cover in these videos about off-grid life, you know, please drop me a line. You know, like, subscribe. Gives me a chance to actually get to a few more people. The other thing, I suppose, I forgot to mention the fact that now the sun is actually got a bit better, we're getting an awful lot more sort of solar power. You know, today I was charged at least 4 or 5 different things at the same time whilst having lights on, and I was still in the positive, which is brilliant. Anyway, I suppose I ought to sort of sign off and see how this video looks. I might post it later. I might have to do a little bit of editing, and if I try to do some editing, it'll probably take me all night to do that anyway. Anyway, that's Avalon Caravan signing off for the night. Hope you all have a great evening and stay safe.